Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's Super Hack. And this one's quite a cool little one. Very simple, but it's just a function a custom function that you can add in, which I'll show you the VBA for in a second. But it's called Count Words, and what it does is it allows you to select a range. And then it will count how many words there are in that range. And let's say we drag this down, then you'll be able to see that it just works as a formula as normal. It can do a very large amount of words, and it bases it all on how much white space you've got in here. So if we put this down here, then you'll see that counts 18 because there's 17 bits of white space, and say there's 18, it knows that there's 18 words. Now it ignores any white space at the end, so if you put lots of space at the end, then it's going to ignore that because it uses the trim formula to work out that that white space actually isn't there, and it doesn't cause any words at all. And that's it. So if we jump into the code, let me bring it up. It's a very simple bit of code. Let me just leave it there on the screen for a second so you can pause and copy it out if you want to. But it's just a function count words by val target range as range. So that's just going to mean that you put in a range value, and then we're going to work out how many words there are in the whole range rather than just one cell. And then we're going to return it as an integer. Now, if you're having problems with that not storing enough, then you can do it as a long instead. But I haven't reached the limit of integer yet, so I always keep mine as an integer. Then dim total count as integer, total count equals 0. So this is just setting up a counter that will count how many words and add it on each time we go for a new cell. And then we've got an enhanced for loop that will go through each of the cells in the target range, and it just uses the length and then the replace formula and compares the two. It replaces all the white space with blanks, and then so it adds on the total amount of characters, then minuses the total amount of characters without the blanks, and then the difference between those gives us the number to add on. And then we just need to add an extra one because there's always going to be one less white space than there is words. So that does that. I've put the trim formula in around our c.value, and that's what stops the extra white space that people generally type at the end of words, including myself. I found actually I get really angry at it, especially when I do it. But yeah, so that gets rid of any of the white space at the end of the words, and just keeps adding it onto the count, and then at the end we just return that back to our function and back to our user as the number that appears in the cell. And that's it. So any questions, drop them in the below. If you have your own super hacks that you want to share with me, then feel free to drop them in the comments or send them over via Facebook, I guess. The forum that we used to have has gone. I'm removing because it's just a lot easier to do it with comments. Most people do the comments in the YouTube videos anyway, so. The forum is no more. But anyway, if you like this video, then please leave a rating. And if you really liked it, then please subscribe. And I'll catch you next week.